Hello, everybody. It's Morvox here, aka Bjorno, here with a short little tutorial with a couple of our leadership people and Zindarak here in attendance, going over our NPC Revamped mod, going over custom quests. I'm going to just give a quick tutorial. It's not going to be anything too long-winded. So this is basically for anyone who misses this initial beta, basically, of us going through and learning how to use this. Anyone has any questions, they can ask Zindarak directly as he is here. As you can see over here on my first monitor, I have Visual Studio Code installed and pulled up. So if you are wanting to get in here and create these quests, it may be a good idea to do the same. It is very user-friendly. It makes it super easy to navigate and know what exactly is not working, as you'll see when I go through here in the quest database.cfg. So first we're going to start basically with the very first thing you're going to need to do. If you're going to want to make quests, you're going to want to get the config files, which I'm going to be storing on the Google Drive for all the people that need to access these config files. And once you get those, you'll see that these files here, banker profiles, buffer database, marketplace, etc., all these files come with the server distro for the mod from, I don't exactly remember who creates the mod, NPC Revamped. Do you remember, Zen, whom the mod author
It
is?
is it is KG
Hey,
Valheim
that's right.
for yep.
Yep. So if you guys are installing it, make sure you're installing NPC Revamp from KG Valheim. It'll come with these config files here. Basically, what we're going to be doing is each of us is going to be going into the Google Drive and opening up the quest profiles in the quest database, CFG. Those are going to be the files we're going to be working on in today's tutorial. And I'm going to be showing you how to create the custom quests and also going over how I insert those custom quests into the game and then basically what that custom quest looks like once it's been successfully integrated into the client. So let's go ahead and open up our quest database CFG file. And then what you're going to see here in your Visual Studio Code application is a couple different explanations here of what each quest type is. So we're basically going to start at the top. The big things to notice are that for the kill type quest, if you're going to want to set minimum level, it can only be used on a kill type quest. It doesn't work with any of the other ones like collect, which you'll see here. There's a couple other different types you could do. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Minimum level only works with the kill quests. So we'll go over exactly where that goes inside the code, but this is basically just a tutorial over how to do these quests. And we don't really want to get too wrapped up in this up here. It's more of this what we really want to look at, because these are the templates to create these quests.
What does minimum level mean in this for this value?
So the minimum level is basically the star level on the creature. So if you set a kill quest and you want them to kill a 2-star, you would specify in the code that it's a 2-star that they need to kill, so that the game knows I can't just kill like a 1-star or a regular creature and get the results from the quest.
Okay, if we set level 1, is that a no star?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes by the same exact levels that you would do when you're using the dev console.
Okay.
So down here in the basically these little templates here, it's going to go over how each one of the quest types is going to look when you're creating your custom quest. First one being you're going to give it a number, a quest number, and we'll go over why that's important here. And once we get to the quest profiles config file, and also why we'll be sharing a config file, because these quest numbers, if you have a different config file and you're telling the client to pull quest 7, I'm pretty sure you can't have 2 quest 7s, right, Zindarak? You can't have one profile have a quest 7 and another have a quest 7?
That's correct.
Yeah,
If you
what I
do
thought.
quest 7, then both profiles will pull that same quest configuration.
Exactly. So the big thing about keeping the same config file and having that on the Google Drive is that we can go in there and see the quests that we have and be able to add to it instead of, just copying and pasting something in there and not noticing that there's already a quest with that number already in the config file. So just
You mentioned
Mhm.
profiles. Are you talking about NPC profiles?
Yes. So we'll go over the NPC profiles. That's definitely one of the most important aspects of this entire tutorial, because that is what's going to give you a different quest board at the Explorers Guild versus the quest board at the Sea Dogs. There'll be 2 different quest boards they will have to share the same quests. So basically, I'm just going to go over real quick how the quest works, and then we'll go over the profiles and how those work, because first you need to have these quests done before you can assign it to a profile. So in your quest database, you're going to go through, and if it's a kill quest, you're going to basically just follow this template to the T. Here you would put in your creature type, or sorry, your creature, its actual name in the dev console, how many, its level. So that's the minimum level we were talking about. If it needs, so this would be a 1-star. You would have to kill 10 of them in order to complete this quest. And then here, this is the next line in the code is the item for the reward. You can also set this to something else. You can set it to skill. You can set it to item. You can set it to what else? There was a couple other things you could set it to. Zen, wasn't there? Besides just
So
item
a
and skill.
there's skills, pets,
Yep.
items, currency, basically anything that fits within the parameters of the pre-established quests. That I think that there's a tutorial up there exactly what different types you can utilize. But one thing I would like to touch on is what we were talking about with Bertilla whenever it comes to the item IDs. Make sure that the item ID that you list as your item that either is what you need to kill or the creature you need to kill is the item ID that Valheim, the actual game engine, recognizes. Not like, so for example, when you were trying to spawn in the drakes, turns out Valheim calls those hatchlings.
Yep.
So just be aware of that, what the exact item ID is. That way it doesn't script the quest, because it may say, you may be looking for, say, oh, well, you have to go kill the Elder. Well, the game recognizes the Elder as the Grey Dwarf King. So you have to type in Grey Dwarf King as opposed to the Elder. So just kind of keep that in mind as you go forward with quest making.
Yes.
I also wanted to point out that the part of the config we're looking at is only examples. Everything is commented out with the hash symbol. So none of this is an active part of the config.
Yes, so those are all the. That's why they're all green. The white ones are in
Mhm.
this particular
Yep. We'll
application.
go
The
over
green
the
ones
ones
are the
that
ones
we've
that don't.
created. Yep.
Yep, exactly. So
But
that's
basically, just going over that, these are all templates that you would use for each specific quest type, for kill, for harvest, for craft, for talk. So basically, talk is if you want someone to get to the end of a dungeon, maybe put an NPC at the very end that they have to talk to, or they have to technically save, or whatever they need to do at the end. That's something that can be done. And then there's a build quest too. So just build a fire pit or build whatever it is you specify here, and then if you build 10 of them, then you complete the quest. You build 10 treasure chests, or you build 5 sets of a cuirass that's specific to the quest. So
Oh, it's too bad we can't get built at these coordinates quests.
I don't think
yeah.
I
That
haven't
one.
seen anything like
Nope.
that we can
Yeah, I
add.
don't think we're
No.
there yet.
Yeah. So these are a couple of the quests that I have personally done. You'll see here I have a collect quest. Well, actually, this is one of the ones Zen did, and this one too. These 3 and 4 was what Zen did, as basically this is an example, and I did quest 5, 6, and 7. So for I did a collect quest for flaw metal, and if you collect 50 flaw metal, your skill in clubs goes up 20. And then what this is the number of days that it takes to respawn the quest. So you can put that to 30 and it spawns every month, or you could set it to 7 and it could be a weekly quest. I do have a weekly quest down here for a tar quest for the Explorers Guild. So all this is pretty self-explanatory. If you follow the templates and the examples above that, you should have a pretty good idea of how to make a quest. And one of the things to remember, though, is when you're loading in the quest, if for some reason the quest isn't coming up, it's not showing, there's probably an issue somewhere in here. Either the name of your creature or the name of your item you're trying to specify doesn't match the development code for each asset.
And just to clarify, the time requirement for the reset of the quest is tied to your Steam ID as opposed to being for the entire server. So each person can claim that weekly quest, and it'll just continue to reset based off of their Steam ID.
Yep.
So it's not like if one person comes in, grabs the quest, then it won't be available for anybody else for a week. It'll be tied to that one individual.
And that number 5 is 5 in-game days.
5 total days IRL. That means you can effectively make daily quests. It can also be a portion of a day. So if you want it to be, every 30 minutes the quest respawns, then you can figure out what portion of one full 24-hour period of time that would be, and then make that into a decimal point. That can work as well. I had one quest that reset every 5 minutes. There you can also make it to where it's daily, weekly, monthly, whatever amount of time you want. Or if you want someone to never be able to accept that quest again, like a once in a lifetime type quest, but you don't want it to disappear completely, you could set the reset time to something like 9,999 days.
Wait, to clarify, you said the 5 means 5 real life days, not in-game days.
Correct. So that would
Okay,
basically allow you to
I would
go
say
ahead.
the top of the config, if you scroll to the top of the config, it says in-game days, right above the word example.
One
Oh,
in-game day equals 20 minutes IRL.
well then never mind. Then maybe I'm wrong. I
So
thought it was
then,
real life days because it was taking forever to reset.
I was going to point out that the top of this config, above the
Mhm.
word example there, it explains each of those lines. I think it explains some of them.
yeah, so it's in-game days then. So then that means if I wanted it to be a week, then I would have to I would have to look at the example and find out what this would be. But that's for another time. So once we have the quest done and you have this all filled out, you have a quest number assigned, then we can come over to the quest profiles. And the profiles is really where most of your configuration is going to be. It's going to be from creating different profiles and assigning them to each whether it be an NPC, the quest board, etc. So what we did,
Each manifestation of an NPC in the world will
yep,
be given a
exactly,
profile.
exactly. Once you spawn that NPC in, which I could actually show right now because I'm logged in. So you come down here, you select the NPC revamped, either with the pin or without the map pin. Then you'd come in here to Alt E, and you have here is where your profile is here at the top. So what you do is you come here to your code, and this is what is going to match. So when you create your profile name, you'll write it in here. I just type my the Explorers Guild's it's called Quest 86. So
Give us a new one.
Yep, you can also do a new one. Yep, as a test. Let's just call it test.
You just do like a mining guild, quest, explorers guild, things like that, and have those be specific for the quest boards as well.
Yep. All right, so what would you would do, let's just go over this real quick, is this is how I would update the server. I have a mod installed in Valheim called Config Watcher, which basically every 10 seconds, it's more than a mod, it's more of like it runs as like a background process. It just continuously scans for config changes. So every 10 seconds, if it sees I dropped a new config with the new quest line or a new profile in there and I drop it into the server, it'll only take 10 seconds for it to take that change. And if we make a mistake, 10 seconds, we can have it fixed. So right here, we're creating the profile called test. And just to show you guys so that we can get it in game, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would save this and upload it to the server. Actually, let's go ahead and also create a test quest as well. Let's call this quest 8. And if you guys can do it along with me. Quest 8. So let's make it a collect quest. Let's call it test. And there's a description is the next thing on the list. So
I like to copy previous quests and then just replace those values.
you can do that
in the
too.
line.
Yep.
You get a format laid out for you.
So what I'm going to do is make this wood because this doesn't need to be anything crazy.
We capitalize it.
Yeah, I have to capitalize it.
These values are probably specific.
Yeah, and another thing we need to mention is just because it doesn't come up and notice that I typed that in does not mean that it's not calling the right asset down, because we had it before where I had to give the clubs 20 skill. It did not come up when I typed clubs there. It didn't notice it at all. But as long as it was spelled correctly and had the uppercase letter and was named the same thing as the skill in the game, in the dev console, it still saw it.
Complete.
Yeah. So don't trust the autocomplete just because the autocomplete is not pulling up your asset name. Like I typed wood and it didn't come in. We all know in the game it's called wood. So wood, 100 wood, and we'll go ahead and make that an item.
Like I said before, the autocomplete function of this particular program only scans the area above that line. So if wood has never been written on that page before, it's not going to pull it.
Yep.
It doesn't actually pull from a repository.
Say we want to collect wood and stone.
I think you can do that too. I think you could type wood, comma, stone, right, Zen?
I believe it'd be wood, comma 100, comma stone, comma 100.
Okay.
So I have a quest
You guys
here.
will have to test that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Basically, it's just a test quest with a test description to collect 100 pieces of wood, and for that quest, I will get 100 gold coins. It'll recharge in 2 in-game days, and I'm not sure what the bottom one means. I've never seen anything written about the none, Zen.
It basically has like a so I'm sure Ogre already read the config files
Mhm.
for it. It's effectively it makes it to where you have a precursor quest that you have to complete that you can assign at that point.
That's pretty cool.
So if you want them to have to complete other quests before they can access this quest, then that would be where you would write that.
So in the none, you would put like what, quest 5, quest 4, and that would just be one that was a precursor to completing
Correct.
the current quest. Okay. Good information. Thanks.
This is interesting. It will actually reward skill values to your character.
Yep. So once you got your quest profile over here and you call your whatever you end up calling your new profile, I called mine test. Underneath it, you would put in the quests that are assigned. And once you have your quests in your database, it'll come up here and show the quests as they're listed. So you could just come here and select quest 8. I find that usually is helpful for me because then I know that I did it and it sees it, so it's connected. So I just go ahead and do that. Save both of these, both save them, because I've noticed if you don't save them, you don't get your changes, so that's not very helpful. So I have my FTP client open. This is just going to show you a brief overview of what I would do once I updated these. Once you guys have sent me your code there that I just went over for your quests, I would then take that quest, I would add it here to my config file, and then I would just take my 2 config files, and I have a specific spot for them. I hate when Windows Explorer does that. Why is it doing that? Move this over here, this over here. All right, so I drag these over, copy them, bring up the FTP client.
It's a great desktop background.
Isn't it? I copy and I overwrite the other ones. All right, and now I call this remember what we called the NPC profile? I called it test. And it doesn't matter what the NPC name is. That could be whatever you want. And the NPC model, that could be used with any of the character models, any of the assets from the whole game. You can use a fooling, you could use a draugr, you could use a horse, or you can use any of the pre-selected NPC skins.
Don't forget to choose the type of NPC at the top, which would be quests.
Exactly. So at the top, you have a
Right.
pre-selection of which NPC
Right
style you want. So you could come up here and select marketplace or trader or info. Info being basically you're just going there and it's just dialogue, and it's basically just going to give the player some type of information. We're not really going to do much with the teleporter for now. Feedback is sort of where they could go. Players can go and submit their feedback and have an actual UI that pops up where they can put in their thoughts and have that sent. As far as like where that feedback ends up, I'm still unsure of. I haven't.
I've read there's a Discord hook.
There is. You've been able to read the comments.
I read a config for the author of this mod. There is a different. This is the revamped. The previous one that doesn't say revamped has some other instructions saying feedback has a Discord hook.
Yep. So banker and gambler and quests are pretty much going to be the ones that we're going to be using the most. That and the trader in the marketplace. We're not going to use enchanter or the teleporter. And the trader, I'm pretty sure we are using it now for the moment, but that's basically just Haldor, right?
No, the trader is effectively like you can assign him particular or that NPC particular items that you wanted to be able to sell or trade for other items.
Okay.
The current config for the trader, I walked up, he'll trade like wood for stone or iron for. If you go up and look at him, he'll up on your right, he will trade item for item.
Yeah. So it's not the trader UI that you typically get with Haldor. It's just a specific UI you set up yourself. As far as the Discord hook you were talking about, you talking about like it's a programmable Discord hook? Maybe we could have like a particular Discord channel.
It's a Discord hook that will send it to a channel that whoever admins the server, the feedback could be placed in a channel of Discord, is what it sounds like.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like having a feedback Discord channel or something.
All right, so if you guys see now, it has been quite a minute since we added that in there, but popped right into my quest board. There's my test. There's my test quest. Exactly what I wrote in there. Collect 100 wood. You get 100 coins for it. So it's
What is
pretty.
a green star? I saw that before.
Is that the first? Because it's the first time you're doing the quests in. Is that what that means?
I believe that's the creature level required, and since it doesn't have a level, it just automatically defaults to 1 star.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, pretty straightforward.
Will you
From
walk up to that trader and show the interface in
Yeah.
the building over there?
Yeah.
We were just
Also,
talking about it.
This right here.
Also, just a little
Yeah.
tip: whenever you end up actually accepting the quest, you can hit J to open up your journal and either cancel quests or view your current active quests.
So this looks like he will store your valuables only at the banker.
Yep.
I
So
wonder if
that's
he's
actually,
configurable for other items.
yep, he is. So I worked with Bjorno yesterday to try and get all these things set up, but these are all configurable. So the gambler is also configurable, including the amount that is charged per gamble, the amount of items you receive, and it actually can be a variable between, for example, you see the tar is 30 to 50, you can get anywhere from 30 to 50 tar.
And there's a chance you get any one of these items. You don't know the chance.
Correct.
And there's a chance you get nothing.
Well, there's a chance you're always going to get something, but it could be any of those things. So it could be at your lowest possible thing. You could get either 1 iron sword or 1 wood. It's just all completely variable.
Okay.
And then we all know what the marketplace is. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. From start to finish, we created a quest, went over the profiles, got it into the FTP client, and onto the quest board. So if you guys could just update the Google Drive, the config files with your guys' quests, let me know, and I'll just pop that into the server, and we'll have custom quests.
There is a trick with that. If say I download the file now and I make changes and I upload it tomorrow, I'm going to overwrite any changes somebody else made in the meantime. So
Yeah, you may want to put maybe your name at the end of the file name when you make an edit and you re-upload it, just so I know whose edit it is.
that's probably the best way to go.
So that's basically how it's going to work. If you make any edits, just put your name. Maybe you don't have to put a date because I can see the edited date on there. So, and I can see which one is the latest edit. So, yep.
So the files to download are examples to use.
Basically.
So,
Any final questions, Helga? Do you have any questions for Zen while he's here?
No, it's pretty straightforward. It's very familiar with like basic programming and stuff.
Yeah. It's really exciting that we even get the chance to do this. We basically get to create our own game. It's amazing what we're going to be able to do. Once Mythic gets a hold of this, I would like Mythic to have a big hand in it, because Mythic has a lot of really cool ideas, and I really want to see those come to fruition. Rogue, do you have anything?
I can't wait to set up all the dumb fetch quests for stupid things.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a good way for new players to come in and actually get rewards. Make a basic quest area where, they collect 10 wood and they get a club or something,
I was going to push for the ideas of having each individual guild have themed quests, maybe?
Okay.
That way, it would kind of incentivize people to go to the guilds to accept the themed quests,
Sounds like a plan to me.
and then we could have a general area for general busy work quests.
Yep.
Maybe. Just an idea. I don't know.
All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Zen, to myself, even to Rogue or Helga. I'm pretty sure they're smart guys and they've got a pretty good handle on it now. Thanks for tuning in and hope you guys have a great night.